A completely 3D printed case for your glass and drinking accessories. Let's see how I sliced it. Alright guys, this model over here is a model from the Gentleman's Bar 2 from Estelflix. First tip is not a technical one, but we have 3 different sizes for the internal case because of different sizes of glasses, for example. So I recommend you, if you are selling this, for example, you may do different advertisements or different types of products with the different size being described, okay? For your clients, choosing between the different sizes according to the glasses that they are going to use, okay? So if you want to check, I recommend to use the measure option on the Prusa slicer. We have a lot of parts on the same model, but as I said, it's just the sizes, the different sizes. This is the small one. You can check this on here in the measure feature. You can click on some edge, internal edging here, and then you're going to check the size of this, okay? For example, in here. Let's restart section. I wanted to check the height of this, the distance between those parts. Let's reset and click in this surface in this, no, this one. Yeah, now I have it. So we have 82 millimeters in here. So you can check your glass if you are printing for yourself, and also you can check for your advertisement. So you can inform your clients. I have an option with 82 millimeters, which is the smaller one, and then I have other options, and you can measure for each one of them. It's not a technical tip, but I think it's a good option that you are able to measure inside of the slicer. And now let's talk about settings, 3D printing. I don't need any precautions in here because we have a extremely large first layer. So this print is going to be safe attached to the bed, so we don't need to worry a lot. And also we have a lot of textures on the outside of the model in the walls. So the average layer height 0.2, 0.24, for example, you are going to gain some time and also keep the details. For example, we have this horse in here, this star, something. We do have some details, but it's a large print and it's not the main object in here. It's just a case. The main object are the accessories that you are going to put inside of this. So I recommend you to gain some time and increase the layer height 0.24, for example, and let's see how the details are going to go. And we don't actually need to change something special for the strength because it's just a glass, empty glass, some pieces of steel cubes for eyes. So I don't think we need a lot of strength in here, okay? Let's just keep the pattern in the walls, the top and bottom layers, as you can see in here. And also in the infill, I'm going to keep my pattern gyroid, okay? Let's see, same speed as always. And also, and here we have something to change. Since we increase the layer height and we want to keep the addition between the layers, we are going to increase a little bit the extrusion width as well. Okay, we have more height, so we want to increase the extrusion width to keep the relation between the layers, the addition between the layers. Okay, all right guys, look, even if we increase the layer height, we do have a lot of time in this print. Okay, so let's see if the details are okay. In my opinion, they are. We could increase more, in my opinion, because this is, as I said, is a big print. So the details are going to be here in anyhow. Let's increase again. And also, I will recommend you something. Let's increase the extrusion width as well. We can print this a little bit with more speed. I'm using an Ender 3 V3 SE as an example because I think it's an average printer nowadays. So 60 millimeters per second is my usual setting because sometimes I don't want a lot of vibrations on my print. So this one, I don't think it's gonna happen because we have a lot of changes, a lot of changes in the direction of the nozzle, and that's because we are not able to achieve the actual speed because of those changes. The acceleration are not going to be straight. We can increase a little bit the speed for save some time. Let's check it and then I tell you if it's okay. Let's put 100 millimeters in here. And I have another precaution to do, to recommend you. Let's just see. Okay, we save almost 8 hours, so in my opinion, worth it. I increased the layer height one more time and also increased the speed. So I recommend you guys to do the same. Let's check in here, the speed option. All the parts are 100 millimeters per second. We are going to achieve this speed on parts like this one. Let me show you. For example, in here. When we are doing straight lines like this, we can almost go into 100 millimeters per second. But when we are in the infill, and mostly on the gyroid one, we are changing directions, we are not going to achieve this speed. The acceleration is not so high. So let's see another. I think we can do. We can increase this speed for this printer, and if you have if you have a high-speed printer, a Clipper one, I don't know, Neptune 4 Pro, if you have a Bambu Lab, for example, so it's going to be fine if you can print a lot faster than this. I start my slicing thinking about people that still have average printers. If you have a faster printer, you can change the specific settings for the speed. In this case, another thing that I should recommend you is if you have increased your layer height, as I did in here, and also increased the extrusion width, you can or you may have to increase your temperature. So we are going to deposit more material in the same amount of time, okay? So you should increase a little bit the temperature, about 5 degrees, for example. Like if you are in 200 degrees, 205 or 10, depending on the filament that you are using, okay? The brand that you are using your filament. If you have a filament with higher quality, it's going to be fine. The flow is going to be okay. But if you have a cheaper one, it may have some problem with the extrusion in higher speeds, okay? Those were recommendations for saving some time. Let's forget about it because this is only for the base and also the top part, okay? Let me just show you. We have in here the top. So those settings that we work on was just for those two parts. Now we have those ones. Let's check which they are. Now we have the articulations for the case, those two in here, and also the locker, this. Let's print them separately because we have some tips. Oh, this one in here, this, we can print with the articulation. Those guys over here. Sometimes, depending on the filament that you're using or depending on your settings, we may have some problems on this. Let me change it for feature type. Sometimes those parts are attached or glued. So you don't want this, of course, because we want articulation. And then you have two options to fix that. You can do a flow calibration on your printer, on your filament, better saying, or you can use a setting called, in advancing here, XY size compensation, okay? We can use this as, for example, a negative value, 0.05, and then just slice. We are going to, with this setting, we are going to create a bigger gap between the pieces because this is a compensation on all XY directions of the files. So if you have a part in here, for example, look, we have X, Y, so all those directions in all the measures on the file are going to be smaller because I put a 0.05 negative value. If you point something like 0.1 positive, it's going to be bigger. Okay, let's just see. And then it's going to be worse. It's going to be attached. Let's increase more for you to see the difference, 0.5, for example, and then slice. See, all the parts are together now. So you don't want this, not in this case. If you have another print, another file that need increased values, you can do. But we are reducing, so 0.5 just for checking, just for explaining you. It's just an example. Look how small it is. This is not going to work, okay? So we are going to use just a small adjustment on the file if you have problems with the articulation. In the original file, we already have a gap, okay? Let's go back in here. Look, we already have the gap in here. Look, we have the gap between the pieces. But sometimes the printer or the filament are not set up and we have some problem and then the parts are stuck. So you can change this. It's just an option for you fix the problem quickly without having to do a lot of calibrations, okay? So just a recap, as I said, you can calibrate your flow and check the extrusion, but if you are on the hurry, if you need to do faster, you just need to adjust the XY size compensation with a negative small value. 0.05 or 0.1 is going to be okay. Don't exaggerate in here because it's going to separate the parts if you do if you put in here a extremely large value, okay? Just a small adjustment is going to be fine. And I select those three parts because are the only ones that have articulation inside them, okay? Look, in here, we do have a articulation in here for the locker, right? Those are the only changes. I would not use the bigger layer height in here. So let's go back to our original settings in here as well. Just this one, okay. And now it's going to be fine. When you are dealing with technical prints and when you are dealing with articulations as this one, don't exaggerate on the layer height, okay? Sometimes this got a little bit tricky on these parts, especially on overhangs one, for example, in here. So 0.2 is going to be fine. If you need any help in assembling this print after all of this, you can check the description of the model. We have the PDF and also the assembly guide, okay? See you guys in the next one. I hope you like it and see ya. I hope you guys enjoy it. Those slicing videos are an initiative from STL Academy, which is the educational project from STLFlix. So if you guys want to learn more about 3D printing, you could check our description and look at STL Academy courses. And don't forget, see you guys at the next slicing.